I don't think this is the African monarch. Let me double check. You know what? I've got an insect book here. Let me find. There we go. Because I know there is another. I think it's a diadem that looks similar to the monarch, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if I can find this in the insect book. Let's see if we can identify it. The beautiful butterfly, isn't that magnificent? Beautiful colors. I don't know, it just looks a little different to me. It's possibly I think it is an African monarch. Can't see the underneath part of the wing here very clearly. But there was, I do remember there was another species that mimics the African monarch, but this looks like it. Unfortunately, we can only see the top part in the book. There we go, the African monarch. Beautiful orange coloration, with the white markings on the wing. I'd like to see underneath, but they don't have a picture of the underside. I think that is an African monarch. Yeah, it looks like it. It's just folded its wings up. Beautiful, beautiful butterfly. There we go, James. A butterfly for you. I can hear some grey go-away birds alarm calling. I wonder what's disturbed them. Let's go and investigate. But it sounds like Taylor's found a rather large mammal she wants to show you.
We had to move on from Hosanna. The reason being was, firstly, there was an elephant, not an elephant, there was an aeroplane, this is an elephant, that was about to take off from the airstrip, and that's actually where Hosanna happened to be, in that golden grass, and the other side was the airstrip. So that, you can imagine, that big bird chased Hosanna away, and there were also lots of other vehicles that wanted to still come in. There were quite a few standbys, so we thought we'd give them an opportunity. It's only fair. We had some really, really good time. I was happy with the time spent with that beautiful cat this morning. And now we've got my favorite animal in the whole world, who's just blown a whole bunch of sand up in its face. Hello, big boy. And this is hashtag not Daryl. This is another elephant and baboons at the back. You can hear the aeroplane going over. Oh, it's okay, big boy. Elephant's a bit nervous. Not with us. It's the aeroplane literally flew right over the tops of our head. And he wasn't too certain about that, but obviously settled down quite quickly. Baboons also weren't happy about it. They've gone into the tree now. Hello, big boy. You're loving those marulas, aren't you? Oh, hi, Cheryl. How's it going? Oh, every time anybody with the name Cheryl, that's what you got to say. You got to do a real South African accent and say, hi, Cheryl. You've asked if the elephants have a favorite type of grass. I don't think so. They just like to eat lots of it. Surprisingly, elephants are actually mainly grazers when they can. They're bulk grazers. Obviously, they're able to substitute their diet with lots of other things, like the amarula. Not the what is wrong with me? I think I need to start the day again. I must tell you, I think if I had an hour's sleep last night, it was a lot. My insomnia tendencies attacked me hard last night. So I think that's why I cannot speak properly today, is because I haven't had enough sleep. So this elephant is not picking up little amarullas. That's the liqueur that's made from the fruit. It's picking up marullas. And I think they'll eat any type of grass. I don't think there's a particular favorite. I wouldn't say that they love thatching grass. You don't really see many animals feasting upon the thatching grass. Not that there's any here at the moment, but he's not eating grass at all. He's after all the marullas. I still need to eat one. I have not had a marula since I've been back. So we'll look for some this afternoon. We'll collect them. David, shall we get a Ziploc bag and put all the fruit in again and put it in the freezer? Remember we did that once. I don't know if we were too well after we ate 45 kilograms of marula fruits. But anyways, they're so delicious and tasty. I prefer them a little bit on the green side too. A little bit of sort of zing to them. They're quite nice, in fact. And at least those clouds are clearing up. You can see they're grey. There's literally just a patch of blue. in between that. Oh, beautiful scene. This is such a greater Kruger scene, a typical Sabi sand scene. Elephants standing under marula trees, green grass, blue skies with clouds. We always talk about a magical Mara moment. I feel like this is, now I'm going to do the alliteration right now, a Sabi sand scene. There you go, going back around the tree. Now, will you go up to that tree and give it a good head shake? When I was on holiday, so I went on my family holiday, as most of you know, and we went into Kruger. We went in twice. We'd also just been to the Baluli Game Reserve and gone on game drives there as well. So I didn't do all the Kruger game drives. I enjoyed the pool. And there was this one young bull, and my dad said, "Oh, he's acting strange. What's wrong with him?" And I said, "Oh, watch. He's going to go up and shake the tree." My dad said, "No, he's not. I've never seen an elephant do that, and I've been coming to the Kruger for so long, typical." And I said, "Watch, he's going to do it." Off he went, and he shook this tree. It was quite nice. It was right next to the vehicle as well, so we had a couple of marulas bop down onto the top of the car. It was a big tree. And my older brother from Australia and his girlfriend, who was also Australian, got to see that. It's a very nice behaviour to see. And apparently not too common, seeing as though my dad's been going to Kruger since it was opened. No, I'm joking, not that long. But he's been going for a couple of years, ever since they moved to South Africa. But that light is stunning now. I don't think he's fanning his ears to keep himself cool. I think there might be a couple of insects around him. I mean, his tail's swishing quite a bit. So by bringing those ears all the way forward, especially around the eyes where it's a little bit moist, we know the insects and flies will be going there. A good way to keep them away. Keep them off. But it's not quite time to have a mud bath just yet. Wonderful. We're going to head away from this elephant now and back on to Djuma, I think, and maybe go visit Treehouse Dam. Let's go see what Byron has got for you next.
We've found a group of kudu in quite a thick area, but there's a female just busy chewing the cud at the moment. You can see she's not actually feeding on the tree, but feeding on that food that she has regurgitated. Now there were a few of them, and they're down. There's a very thick drainage line off to our right. And they're hiding in there at the moment. This female came out. She's out in the open a little bit, just busy feeding. I'm sure the others will follow shortly. There's a young male and a few females, which is usually what you see with kudu. The females tend to stay in groups, and the big males sometimes form small bachelor herds. Nice bit of sun coming through on her face. Look at that. Oh, it's lovely. Alita, now the antelope do not have antlers at all. So you might be thinking of deer or elk up in North America, and that they have antlers. They grow antlers, but they shed the antlers annually. And the antelope, however, have horns which grow throughout their lifetime. They don't lose them. Some species of antelope in Africa, males and females, have horns. Other species, like the kudu, only the males have horns. The females do not. Same with the bushbuck, same with the nyala, impala. Also, only the males have horns. I'm trying to think of a species here that male and female have horns. Do we have a species in this area? I suppose the wildebeest. The wildebeest, well, they are definitely part of the antelope family, and they, male and female, have got horns. What else over here? Male and female have got horns. Can you think of anything, folks? I can't think of anything now. One antelope which doesn't occur in this area, but that male and female have got horns, are the springbuck, which is our national animal. and both those have got horns. But no, that's the difference between antelope and deer. So we don't have deer occurring in Africa. There have been some species which have been introduced over time, which are now considered to be African deer, but originally there were no deer, only antelope. Alright, let's continue. We're making our way down towards the Mulwati, which is just off to our right. Right, shall we go back across to Steve and find out how the walk is going this morning?
Thanks, Byron. The walk is going swimmingly. Excuse the pun. We found a little bit of a mud wallow or a pan here, which is a lot fuller than last time we came. Some more foam nest frogs on the log just above there. It always amazes me how out of nowhere these grey tree frogs or foam nest frogs just materialize at the sight of water. And I know that it's been dealt with many, many times, how those foam nest frogs work. So I'm not going to indulge you with that now. But what I did find, and I always find this quite interesting, it is the time of year for the marula. And I Taylor would like to try one, but this one is not quite ripe yet. It's still quite green, still quite hard. But not only can you eat the fruit inside, the nut itself. Oh, Taylor likes them green, okay. I think she likes sour sweets as well. But you cut the top off here, you get the seed out, you eat the fruit, it's very nutritious, and inside the seed, or inside the kernel, is the nuts, which provide a very nice oil. But here I've got some old skin. It's a lot more dry, and if you take this and dry it out, you can crush it down and actually make it into a type of tobacco, but a tobacco that is snorted, not actually smoked. We call it snuff. You grind it down and you into the nose, and it gives a little bit of a tobacco kick. I'm not the biggest fan of snorting tobacco like that, but apparently works quite nicely. So we are. Heather wants to know if marula fruits have any medicinal properties, and the skin itself can actually be used as an insecticide. So I don't know if it's good for using it on the skin as an insecticide, or if it's used for possibly adding liquid to plants to keep insects away. But the skin itself, not only is it a snuff, but it's an insecticide for that. But the oil produced from the seeds is very, very good for lips, for lip balm itself. But then the fruit itself is very high in vitamin C and lots of flavor. And from a medicinal point of view, you can make beer. I think that's quite medicinal, don't you? Makes everyone happy, chills out a bit. So I hope that answers. But if you look at the plant itself, the leaves, you can chew them, make an astringent. It's very good for heartburn and for stomach ailments. You can get antihistamine properties from the bark. So it is a wonderful tree. It also provides lots of shade and, as I said, fruit and beer. Those of you who've had the amarula cream before, it is made up primarily of the fruit from this product here. So we are just jumping over the pans here. We're doing a big skirting mission, seeing if we can pick up on any tracks of any interesting animals that might be sort of frequenting these little mud wallows. Some old buffalo activity, nothing of yet to talk about. Hoping we might find an elephant or two as we walk. And I am looking for special tree. If we find it, we will talk about it, but if not, we'll save it for this afternoon. There is plenty of time. I'm here for the next unforeseeable future, so we will be delving back into the topics of trees every day. And what I'm really going to be focusing on the next little while is the flowering and fruiting of these plants, because it is that time of year. Watch out for the hole there, Seb. It is that time of year when it makes it very easy. Seb nearly lost his ankle there. I've got his back. Makes it very easy to ID plants, because the fruits are coming out. If there are flowers, makes it easy. As the winter months come, it becomes very difficult to identify a lot of these plants if you don't know what you're looking for. For example, here we have the Majiguari and some of its fruits. All those lovely fruits there, which are not edible for us. They're quite sour, But lories, or the grey go-away bird, mouse birds, they absolutely love these. Baboons and monkeys as well. Shall we have a go? Let's have a go. There's not much to it. It's very bitter though, very bitter. And what do we know about safety in the wilderness and surviving of plants? If it's bitter, it's ideally not a good idea. But the plant needs to be distributed, and so it produces these lovely fruits, and then the birds will move across and move around and deposit those fruits elsewhere. Unlike the silver cluster leaf, which relies on water for transport, these ones are definitely for monkeys and birds. So we'd call that zoo transportation, animal transportation or bird transportation, and then those seeds will go somewhere else. Magic worry. So we're going to go over to Byron, who I believe might have an update, but I think he is just driving.
Well, I've just found a beautiful little bird that's making a lot of noise. It's a green-backed Cameroptera. But quite difficult to see. You can hear it calling. But it's really difficult to see in there. Really making a noise. Wonderful sound. I'm just going to play the call quickly on my app. So it does that sound too. Yeah, so you can hear exactly the sound that it's making. I'll show you. I'll show you some images of one shortly, so you can see exactly what it looks like. It's a beautiful little bird, and they're sometimes quite secretive, but you hear them often. It used to be known as the bleating warbler, and obviously because of that interesting sound we heard in the beginning, I'll play it again for you. But that is the green-backed Cameroptera. Some of these bird names tend to be a little bit difficult at times. There we go, beautiful little bird, look at that. And that's what's been making that noise. Oh dear, Ravi, I have no idea. I don't know if birds have taste buds on their tongue. You know what? If I have to think about it, I would think they possibly do. If you think how certain birds go for nectar and pollen, and some of the sugar birds, some of the sunbirds, they all go for specific food for nectar. So I wonder if they've got buds on it. Sorry, Kirst, just repeat that, please. And the parrots have about 3 taste buds. So parrots have taste buds. Alright, I think we're just going through a tricky signal area. Let's go across to Taylor quickly.
Oh my goodness, those pesky gremlins in the Mulwati are particularly bad. Right, we are on, I'm trying to remember all the roads that are, every time I go on a new one. We've just come off Twin Dams, we are now on Pangolin Track. Is that the one, Darby? That's the one. I'm impressed. I'm even impressed with myself that I remembered that. I should remember the names of all the roads. I worked here in the sands in this area for such a long time before I went to Kenya. So we left our elephant. We're now back on Djuma, obviously. We're going towards Treehouse Dam. We're just going via. We were actually in the Mulwati, and then I realized that Byron was also in there, so we let him have the rest of the sunrise cruise that he's going to be doing. And I've taken my jacket off, but now I feel like it's chilly when the clouds come over. I think it's going to be a nice day. At least it's not as humid Well, not yet, as it was yesterday. Yesterday was quite hot and unpleasant, which wasn't too much fun. Whee! Looks like there's some hyenas playing in the sand. Let me just check. Ooh! It's 68°F currently. That's nice. It's not as cold as the Mara, especially in the mornings. Remember, after the sun would just start to rise, that next hour was freezing. I think I might be sitting it too far back. There you go. Oh, go away bird. Mom's favourite bird. Bossy Donna. Let's have a look at you, because I haven't seen one for a while. Here, just landing in a guarri tree. Where are you? You're still there. Closest to us. The tree closer to us. I think you're in the wrong tree. That one, yeah, that one. There you go. There it is. Bobbing around in some branches. And wind's starting to pick up now too. So that will keep it nice and cool. I can't believe that there's still berries on the guarri trees. Because as I was leaving, they looked like they were almost ready. We were just a few weeks behind and becoming ripe. And hopping about. And it is amazing how they sometimes will eat the unripened berries. Although, I think some of these trees are going to start fruiting again. All the rain that we've had. Right, that was nice. Quick view of one, not wanting to hang around though. Ah! Rolling back. Go forward. There we go, that's better. That's what I wanted to do, I'm too close. That's better. Need to try and find my comfy driving position again. Oh, no, I've clicked too far back. Oh well, we'll go with it then. Yeah, there's quite a few hyena tracks around this morning, but no hyenas. Oh, I wonder if anybody's going to come and visit me in camp. Remember how they used to keep me up? All those videos that I used to post at 2 o'clock in the morning of the hyenas trying to steal the bins. Anyways, Byron doesn't have a hyena. He's got a beautiful kingfisher, and we actually had its feather yesterday.
Yeah, this is amazing. I've only seen these once on Safari Live before. It's the grey-headed kingfisher. Now, this is not a kingfisher we see very often. So this is beautiful. Really, really fortunate. It's an intra-African migrant, and it's really an uncommon kingfisher. It's not one that we see regularly around here. But look how beautiful that is. Very clear grey head. I'm hoping it turns a little bit so you can see the face and the beak. Grey-headed kingfisher. Look at that. There we go. Beautiful. And that rufous brown coloration on the belly. And that blue, those blue tail feathers. Sure, what a nice surprise. I'm starting to think, I don't know, remember, so the other day, some of you were watching, I saw a kingfisher fly very quickly through some trees, but it was not a kingfisher that I recognized, or rather, it wasn't a kingfisher that we see regularly here. It was either this grey-headed or a little malachite. It looked quite small, so I don't know if it was this one or a malachite, but I definitely saw the rufous brown underneath. Now both of these birds have got rufous brown on the belly. There, you can see that clearly now. This is a wonderful, wonderful sighting of this kingfisher. Oh, I really wish I had my camera now, because this would make a magnificent photograph. Perched perfectly. A little backlit. I'd probably try to change positions a bit. And Josh, yes, I think we've seen giant kingfisher here before. I'm just trying to think. Oh, there There it goes. Let me just try and change position. Sorry, there's a vehicle behind us. I just want to move out the way. Oh, it caught an insect there. Sorry, folks. I'm just going to start. You just quickly move off to the side here. We should get to see it again. Oh, lovely view. So the giant kingfishers, they do occur in this area. There are loads of them. And I've seen, especially down at the rivers, you tend to see them a lot more. But this little kingfisher is not one that we see regularly. So this is really a wonderful surprise. Very beautiful little kingfisher. And well, I'm so glad this kingfisher hung around for us. And glad you got to see it. Now, from this little bird, Taylor's got a rather large bird she wants to show you.
And 3 of them are sitting in a tree. I don't know if they're looking down on anything, or if they perhaps were just roosting here for the night. But there are 3 whiteback vultures up in a dead knobthorn tree, which is quite cool. No, it doesn't look like they've got very full crops. So I think that they were just roosting here for the evening. But we will do some further investigation, because we're a little bit far from Treehouse Dam still, I think. Yes, I think no, maybe not. Anyways, and when we're on the other side of that drainage line where that tree is, we might be able to just sneak on in and have a little look around. I don't know, maybe there is a leopard with a kill, or perhaps a lion or something else. I don't quite know. The vegetation is so lush that it makes it quite difficult to see what's at the base of that tree or just under a tree nearby. I've now added a scarf this morning to the outfit, because I didn't want to put my big jacket back on. I feel like a jersey would have been suitable. And, it's not quite cold enough. It's done the trick. Darby's got long sleeves on, so he's fine. He's warm. I think we still need to do bush fashion. Senzo needs to host it, though, of course, because he's the most fashionable out of everybody in camp. The outfits that he wears always make me chuckle. They're quite funny. Okay. Oh, no, we are here at Treehouse Dam. I wasn't sure if we were one road away still. Been caught there before. Cool. Well, we'll go and find some birds at Treehouse Dam, see what else is around, and let's go and see all the pretty things that Steve has got.
Thanks, Taylor. And we have found a very non-moving flower, so we weren't too worried about taking our time. We found a beautiful hibiscus. Nice big yellow flower. And what we found on the hibiscus itself is a few ants that seem to be feeding not on aphids themselves, but on small insects that are in and around the flower. It's quite hard to really see. But whenever you find a plant with ants on, and if I go near those ants, they get very aggressive. If I try to touch them or go near them, they get very aggressive. So what it tells me is that they're looking after some insect that is able to benefit from the plant itself by taking some sap or creating some honeydew, for example. And then the ants themselves, they get the byproduct from the aphid, so to speak, and they protect the aphid from any other marauding predatory kind of insects or birds or people like myself and Seb. And you can see they actually generally farm the aphids, and they get the sugar that's produced by them. So just this small little plant that we see that is growing on a termite mound has got an ecosystem all unto its own, and the flower itself is a pollination source. Lots of pollen in there, lovely for honeybees, butterflies, some beetles. They'll rub their pollen all over their back as they go from flower to flower. So the life comes forward as soon as there's some rain, and then everything benefits. I'm not sure if it's the flowers that they know that the insect life cycles are keyed with the moisture, or if the flowers themselves that just benefit from the rain, or which cues which. I suppose it's the chicken or the egg which came first. All we know is that the flowers and the pollinating insects go hand in hand to create what is quite magnificent in the circle of life in nature. And just to sit here and see ants doing their thing, you can't really see the small things that they might be farming, but my guess is there probably are some really small insects on there that they are assisting and their safety. Because if I go near one of these ants, he gets quite aggressive towards me. Oh, he ran away that time. But anyway, we're going to continue on. The sun is coming out, and it is starting to be quite a nice, warm morning. But in all, a beautiful, beautiful day. Seb nearly took my head off there with the aerial, but so we're going to continue on in this direction, following Rex. Going to back to Taylor and see what she's found for you, Treehouse Dam.
My goodness, almost choked. Sorry. I was going to say something and then I coughed instead. We don't have too much bird life at the dam this morning, other than very pretty reflections. We've got on the right, we've got the blacksmith lapwing. The last time I was at this dam, there were little chicks running around with the adults. But I would reckon that they would have fledged by now anyways and carried on and gone off. Not too worried about getting its feet wet. Now, why has it got a white patch on its belly? That actually looks a bit mottled in colour. You see that? It's very mottled. I wonder if this is not a sub-adult then, a youngster. Yeah, it must be. You can see all that plumage is not particularly neat and tidy. Anyways, now Gemma, you were wondering if there is actually a treehouse at Treehouse Dam. I don't think there's any more remains of it, but yes, there used to be a treehouse, in fact, in one of those marulas back that way. I can't see it from this angle, and there was a plank or something that was still dangling from the tree, but I don't know if it's there anymore. They may have taken it down. It was a little bit of an eyesore, so I would imagine that they would have removed it by now. But yeah, that's really it. That's at the dam this morning. So I think we'll carry on. We'll go back around to where we saw those vultures and investigate and see if there is actually anything down there. I don't think so, though. I really think those vultures were just roosting. I'm hoping I'm going to be wrong, though. I wouldn't mind being wrong, you know, and finding something else. See, some ellie tracks, lots of elephant tracks around, as we know. Okay, so it was just down here. It wasn't far at all. I suppose I'm going to start looking at tops of trees and actually just scanning around. You know, they don't always stay with their kills predators. Sometimes they move off just a little bit. Okay, bumble. Well, I suppose this is not quite bumbling, though. We know exactly where we need to go. Right, which tree was it? It was just past here. Oh. So we're on, I thought it was basically on the side of the drainage line. It's not. I'll show you quickly because we've got a nice view here. Let me practice my reversing. I like reversing. I could do all the game drives backwards. Okay, there we go. There's a quick view of the vultures. So you can have a look. It doesn't look like there's anything down here, but I will drive on in and have a squiz around and check underneath all the trees. Byron has got something else that also likes to bound from branch to branch.
Well, I did have something that likes to jump from branch to branch, but it jumped from branch to branch and disappeared. It was monkeys. We had some vivid monkeys, but they moved away from us, unfortunately. I'm just going to have a look around this little area because there's often interesting little birds in this marshy area below us. So let's just see. We saw about a week ago we had a steppe buzzard that caught a scrub hare over here, which was really interesting. So let's just stop here. I'm really happy about that kingfisher. That was such a wonderful view of one. There's still the odd foam nest frog around here, a foam nest frog nest around here. But that's about it. What have we got there? Little woodlands. Yeah, all spotted folks. Woodland Kingfisher. I'm hoping to find some elephant. I don't know, the elephants seem to be quiet today. I know Taylor had one earlier. Marco. Okay, let me just double check. How many kingfisher species actually catch fish? So, if I'm not mistaken, I think okay, I know let's go through them. The pygmy kingfisher, that's insect. Brown hooded kingfisher is insect. Giant kingfisher, that's fish, okay? So giant kingfisher, that's one. The grey-headed kingfisher is insects. Half-collared, what is half-collared? I haven't seen a half-collared before. The half-collared catches fish, so that's two. Little malachite. Also small fish. So malachite kingfisher. Sorry, I've got flies flying around me at the moment. Mangrove. What is a mangrove? I think mangrove is insects. No, little fish too. Mangrove, pied kingfisher, striped and woodland are insects. So 5 kingfishers. 5 of them that catch fish. So it is the giant kingfisher, the half-collared kingfisher, malachite kingfisher, mangrove, and the pied kingfisher. Those 5 species all catch fish. Some of them even catch little crabs. Excuse me a second. Okay, copy and 4, thank you. I just gave one of the other guides a hint on where to look for Tingana, and he's managed to see me still in that same position, which is great. Those foam nest frog nests. It's quite a tongue twister. Quite a few of them around still. I think perhaps what we should do is I'm going to start making my way north, and then I'll see if we can get another view of Tingana, just see what he's up to, just before the end of the show. I think that'll be great. So let's do that, and in the meantime, let's go across to Deer Taylor and see where she is.
Deer Taylor? I thought it'd be more Antelope Taylor, but anyways. So we did have a very quick view, which was quite a nice bird to see, in fact. I'll show you. It was a long-tailed paradise wider. I haven't seen one for quite some time. I just had my bird book. Back to my old bird book again. Yay! It was 425. So funny. Right, let's get to this page. Goodness, the white on the paper is so bright. Let's go to that page over there. So the one that we saw was this one up over here. The long-tailed paradise wider. The broad-tailed paradise wider we don't get in this area, so we won't be seeing that over here. But I have not seen one for a very, very, very long time, which was quite nice. Very pretty birds, in fact. But, of course, put the camera on it, and what does it do? Fly away, as do all birds. They don't like the camera very much. Now, what road are we on now? This is that Treehouse Dam Road that doesn't really have a name, I'm pretty sure. Okay, it seems as though there's a family reunion going on Bushwalk. Steve has found one of Gregory's cousins.
I have indeed. We had one just now, a little tortoise, and disappeared into the thickets, and we don't like to touch tortoises and pick them up. And here we found one who's trying to camouflage itself very well. It's covered in mud. Very, very well camouflaged. We nearly stepped on it. But what a beautiful specimen. It's just poking out there, out of his shell, her shell. Very hard to say. And as you probably all know, we have a resident living in camp, and her name is Gregory. That's a very long story, and if any of you don't know it, I'm sure Taylor and Kirst are very willing to share at some stage. Isn't this a beautiful specimen? We're right here next to a little mud wallow. It's possible that it's just covered itself in a bit of mud and also filled up its bursa sac with water, as it then makes its slow, laborious way to feeding on grass and all sorts of small forb-like vegetation. and that bursa will allow it to sustain itself with regards to moisture for quite some time. But lots of green vegetation. It's quite a good time of year for tortoises. This is the time of year where males and females will try and meet each other to try and mate and reproduce. And also it's a bit easier because it allows them to dig into the ground where they will lay their eggs. Obviously when the ground is very hard, it makes it quite difficult. But hence the nice strong toes that they have at the back. Now you can actually see it over here. The back foot is just sitting out a little bit. I think I just tickled her toe a little bit. There we go, it's moving. Aren't you a beautiful specimen? Time to go. There we go. Camouflage is blown, folks. Better hold on. I'm not sure if Seb's going to be able to keep it in shot. It is moving very, very quickly. Look at those beautiful little legs. Watch out. Seb has lost a bit of balance. The tortoise was moving a little bit too fast for him. I just love when they walk away, those spindly little legs at the back. And has now decided a pile of elephant dung will be a far better form of camouflage than where it was before. And in it goes. Yes, we can't see you there. It's possible also it's going to look for some seeds maybe left behind in the elephant dung, or maybe just thought that it was standing out a little bit. But the size of it, you can see with my hand, it's not a very big tortoise. Joy asks whether tortoises carry salmonella. I have no idea. I didn't know that was a thing in tortoises. I have no idea. Maybe Byron or Taylor can answer that question, as this tortoise makes some serious tracks. It's clearly not afraid of us anymore. It has had its drink, and off it goes. Might have a date with Gregory back at camp. You have got a long way to go, sir, or ma'am. The only way to identify the sex is really to pick it up and feel the underside. I'm not going to do that purely because it's going to lose its water sac as a form of defense to protect itself, to frighten you away. So there's no need to really pick tortoises up in the vegetation or out in the wild. And there we go, slowly making its way into some shade, and it'll probably spend the day just munching around over here. Isn't that marvelous? So it goes from a moving object to a rock. A pile of mud. Perfect. That's where it's going to spend the day. Okay, thanks for that, Kirst. Apparently all reptiles carry salmonella in their intestinal tract. So to answer that previous question, yes. Thank you, Kirst, for that information. We are slowly making our way back to camp. It is getting that time of day where game drive is slowly coming to an end, but we still have lots of time, and we still have the potential to see almost anything. So we're going to go over to Taylor and see what update she has for us on this beautiful sunny morning.
Well, I'm writing a note about that all reptiles carry salmonella in their intestinal tract, because I did not know that, so we should write that. No, I need to spell correctly. Carry. I'm just joking. I'm only joking. Right, but I will write that down properly a little bit later. I feel like with that, though, it's inspired me to find out what other types of things that reptiles might carry on them. Maybe different types of mites or any other goodies. What parasites are living in their intestines as well. To find out. Kirsten is just the funniest person ever. I always like to repeat what she says. She says tortoises carry shells. You give the worst dad jokes ever. The worst of the whole team. Anyways, so now we're on Philemon's Katlan. Oh, well. She then says me, who said the whole deer antelope thing, I suppose. I'm just as bad, aren't we? I think we're all pretty bad. Do you know who it is? It's Byron that wears off on us. He comes to camp and then we all become silly. It's not me, and that's for certain. So, on Philemon's Katlan, searching for anything. I would like to see a common duiker. I have not seen a duiker for a long time either. I do already miss seeing the dik-diks though. That was really cool. Nice to see. Where is the duiker going to be? Probably somewhere here. I feel like this is a good spot. I don't really know where we're going to go from here. Where would you like me to go? You've only got about, what, maybe 25 minutes of drive left. So tell me where you'd like me to go and I shall go there. Please don't say on the end of the other corner, although nothing's far here. Bring it, let's go. I can't go back to Chitwa though, it was getting quite busy. So somewhere on Djuma will be quite nice. What did you point at, Darby? Nothing. Oh, I thought you were pointing and you found something for me. I was about to say, whew, save the day. But you didn't. You don't get that credit now. Kirsten has instructed me to find the hyena den. I really wish I could. I think we're going to have better luck finding that on foot. To be honest, with the vegetation being so dense. But I'll keep an eye out when I start to see little cub tracks on the road. Hyena cub tracks. And then we shall go investigating. Maybe there's something interesting around here. I'm trying to find hornbills. Oh, you know what I would like to see is, I know Scott yesterday watched a hornbill eat a caterpillar. That's really cool. I wouldn't mind a bird eating a really big insect. It would be quite nice. Oh, hello, bourbean trees. Ooh. Okay, there we go. So Starlight has requested that we head back towards the dam and see if we can find the newly fledged hornbill chicks. Yeah, let's do that. They're near the dam camp, so I shall get to the dam camp and then you can all instruct me where I need to go from there. Maybe you can send some instructions in now. Is it if you're looking at Voyatella Dam, to the left is the north, to the right is the east? I would assume it's probably in one of those directions. Well, then you can work out south and west. Cool. Yeah. I shall wait for further instruction on where the newly fledged hornbills are, and that's where we'll be heading as a request from Starlight. Byron is also on his way back towards Tingana, I hope. He's still not having a snooze.
Well, I am almost with Tingana. I'm sure he's still here somewhere. Let us have a look. I just want to see before I turn in there, because it's actually a bit of a tricky position. And I'm assuming he's still down there. I think I see him. Hold on. Can you see anything, Fergs? I don't see him. Hold on, let's just check where the kill is. Maybe he's feeding, that would be great. Yeah, here he is. He's right on the kill. Hold on. Fergs, have you got him there? Is that okay? Oh, there we go. So he's on the kill. Now I wonder, Fergs, I wonder from across the other side if we might not have a nice view of his face. Let's try that. Hold on a second. Just stick with us. Let's just try get to the other side there quickly. I can go down, yeah. All right. Let's go through here. Yeah, so actually it's strange. The temperature, it's almost like, oh, sorry. Fergs, I'm sorry, I promise it's not on purpose. I can't see those holes. Every now and then Fergs comes and slides next to me. You want to sit in the passenger seat? Sorry. Oh dear, this is going to be tricky now. There's that guarri bush in the way. Well, he's done a great job of managing to hide this kill. Hold on, let's just see. Now, was he limping? I'm just trying to have a look. Let's just be patient and wait, and he's possibly going to move. Let's just see. Sorry, Fergs. Yeah, no, it's a terrible view. This. Okay, let's quickly go across to Steve, and then we'll see if we can get a better view of Tingana.
Tingana's still not eating. That's interesting. He must be a full, fat cat. So we have found a nice band here. And you can see it a little bit. I wonder if the silver cluster leaves forming the band here, and then that's what we call a seepline. These are not set in stone, but by looking at these, it's good to understand that below this you'll get certain water coming through. And if we go just on the other side of where they've actually put a road here, which ideally is not where you'd want to put a road. You'd never want to put a road below the silver cluster leaf line, but below the trees there are all magic worries. So magic worries is also indication of a seepline, of what we'd probably call a sodic area. The water that's come from the top of the Katina, from that side, will come down. And the reason the silver cluster leaves grow like this is because they grow right at the interface where the sandy soil meets the clay soil, and that's where the water will come up from the underground, and you don't always see it because it can still be quite low, quite below the surface, but this band gives you a good indication of that. And because the water's coming down and up, it ends up dropping salts and nutrients over here, and the salts is what gives the magic worry their kind of like their base and indicate that it's what we call sodic. And sodic just means a lot of salt in the soil and also quite sensitive. That's why I'd say putting a road is probably something that was done quite a long time ago, but from an EIA point of view, I would have done it slightly differently. The silver cluster leaf, marvelous tree. This one here, you can see the galls a bit better here. Come have a look here, Seb. You can get a bit clearer look at the gall here that actually seems to have hatched and the babies have come out. Anna Marie wants to know, how do you tell if a plant is good to eat or not? And by looking in nature, what's quite interesting or easy to understand, I'll run through it again for those of you who haven't seen it before. But if I come down onto the leaf here, first thing you want to do is you want to grab a leaf and you want to look over here, is there latex? If there's a milky latex, then invariably leave the plant alone. If there's no latex, okay, fine, let's move to the next level. Now you have no idea, you've never seen this plant before in your life, but you want to potentially eat it for survival. Now if you want to survive, you need to be able to eat a small amount of it. But what you'll do next is you'll take the plant and you break it, you put it on a non-sensitive part of your skin and rub it in there. Non-sensitive. And if it doesn't form any rash or doesn't cause you any discomfort, then take the same plant and find a little bit more sensitive part of your skin. Do the same thing there. It doesn't. Give it some time, obviously. Don't think this is going to happen immediately. And there's no ill effect. Then you'll take the plant, and everybody knows this is a silver cluster leaf. Then you taste it to your tongue. It is so bitter. If it's bitter, leave it alone. The reason it's bitter is it's a lot of tannin. You won't be able to digest it. But if you can get to this stage and it's not bitter, you can probably eat a little bit of it and then move on. You're not going to eat a lot of it. Your body isn't used to eating these things. We have lost our appendix. Our appendix was probably used to help us digest vegetation, similar to what happens in herbivores these days, but we've lost that ability. So maybe you can eat a little bit of it, but when it's bitter like this, leave it alone. It's just going to cause your stomach to be a problem. Same with fruit. Fruit, if you pick the fruit off and the fruit has got a milky latex like figs do. Figs are the one exception kind of out there. Then this is a marula, but then you can probably leave it alone if it's got a milky latex. Do the same thing on your skin. Do the same thing. Touch it to your tongue. Is it bitter? If you can get past all that, then eat a little bit and probably sustain yourself. Also, if you watch monkeys eating something, we can probably eat it, but also in small quantities. I hope that answers your question, Anna Marie. And we're going to continue on our nice long walk back to camp, and in the meantime we're going to go to Taylor, who's got a small antelope.
We do, and it's the one that I said I would like to see. It's the common daker, and there is a male and female here too. I can just see one of them at the moment. The male was quite keen. He was sniffing the female. Now normally they only come together for mating purposes, otherwise they're territorial. They'll sort of do their own thing, so it's nice to see them together. But of course, very secretive little creatures. They don't like to stand out in the open. I don't really blame them with all of the leopards that are around at the moment. It's good to stay nice and hidden, but there they go, off they go. And is it still there? Oh, there is one, yeah. Oh no, are we looking at a piece of grass moving? I can't even see. David seems to think that there is one daker standing behind those leaves. I don't know. Tricky. But we might see them again. They might run out and move more towards us. They were out here. They actually were standing out in the open, and they ran for cover when they saw us. Let's see if we can get another view. We're coming up to Philemon's Dip soon, so we're not far from the dam, but we've still got a little bit of a way to go. Now I'm deciding, I think I could quite happily do a bushwalk this afternoon. I really enjoyed the bushwalk yesterday. It was lots of fun. It's always nice to be out there. It's not going to be too, I don't think it's going to get too hot today. Do you know what the maximum temperature is supposed to be? Kirst, would you mind checking, please? Where are my manners? See if those daycare are still hiding. They are hiding. Okay, and we're looking forward to see what the weather is. I think it's only going to be about 27. Oh, so good. Okay, so it's actually 28 degrees Celsius, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So I wasn't too far off, just by 1 degree Celsius. Not too shabby. So it's going to be a nice, cool day. Right, and it seems like somebody is starting to feel hungry, and I'm not talking about Byron, but Tingana has started nibbling on his kill.
Well, I think Tingana and I are in the same boat, Taylor. But we have got a lovely view of him, and he's busy feeding on that carcass. And there's a lot of meat left for this leopard, so he's definitely going to enjoy this for about a day, I reckon. Isn't that wonderful? Now we've got a really nice view of him. See, just as I said earlier, come back later, maybe we have better luck, and he's just started feeding again. So our timing is perfect, and I'm glad this leopard has got a decent sized kill, and he doesn't have to share with anybody. He's well hidden, as I was saying. And there are some trees nearby that he can hoist that kill into if he has to. Have I ever seen a leopard or lion without a tail? I have indeed. I've seen 2 lionesses without a tail. So, Donzi, what happened was, I think it was 2007 or 2008. There's a pride of lions on Londolozi known as the...
Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened there with all those gremlins. Sorry about that. Well, David and I were just discussing all the animals we've seen without tails. We've seen lots of elephants, of course. The Talala lioness, the tailless girl, she's got a little stump like a bulbul. And then what about the tailless male lion from the Kitratemba boys, the triangle males that we would see every so often? He didn't quite he was missing a tail. He was just missing the tip of his tail, in fact. And then I'm trying to think, I don't think I've seen anybody else that has tips missing on their tails, or tails missing in general. Giraffe, sometimes you see it. Zebra, definitely. Buffalo, often, especially amongst the big herds. Okay, so we're coming to the dam now. I wonder if it wasn't in a knobthorn behind the dam, Cam, because there were often these knobthorns. I remember watching some hornbills going in there this time last year. Right, where do I go? Also, I wonder where Byron is. I haven't got any directions where to go. You can just go over the damn wall, I suppose. It is behind the damn wall. So, like, which behind though? Like south behind? Oh, Byron is behind the damn wall. Never mind. Let's have a look. Okay, then I won't go that way and bother Byron. We'll go this side. Well, they like to nest in cavities in trees. So we'll have a little scratch around and see if we can find any youngsters hanging about. Byron's managed to get some signal back. Tingana's still enjoying breakfast. I can smell bacon. Let's go see what Byron's smelling.
Yeah, sorry about that. Seem to have just lost you there briefly. But we've still got a lovely view of the leopard. So I was explaining about the lions that I saw without a tail. So about 2007, 2008, there was the Tsalala Pride, 3 females, an adult female or slightly older female, with her 2 offspring. They were sub-adults. They were sub-adults back then, and they were feeding on a kill, and the hyena came in, outnumbered them, attacked them, and the eldest lioness tried to defend the kill and protect the youngsters, and the hyena attacked her and managed to bite her tail off. So she was known as the tailless lioness. But then, surprisingly, in 2009, it was, I forget these dates, 2009 or 2010, can't remember. Similar situation, same pride, on a kill. They had some young cubs with them. Hyena came in, the few lionesses ran off with the cubs just to protect them, and the daughter of that old lioness stayed to protect the kill, and the hyena attacked her, and so both lions tailed the hyena. They carried on, they were fine, 100% fine, but both tails bitten off. Alright, I'm going to try switch. Our signal seems to be intermittent. Let's go across to Steve and see how the walk's going.
Hey, hi, welcome back. You can't really see it now. We've just managed to climb up on top of this termite mound, but there's at least one elephant just here somewhere. It always amazes me how, we just saw it a moment ago. We quickly ran up this termite mound and just like ghosts disappeared like that. Always amazes me how something so large can disappear from sight and sound. We can't hear him. I think it's a he. We only saw one. We didn't get a good visual. It's always important if you get a look at Ellie's, if you're not sure, just always be safe. Climb up on top of a termite mound, get some elevation, get some security. Obviously, we don't want to just go charging around the bush, chasing animals around and stress them out. And if there were females with babies, ideally, sit down, get on top of something with a bit of safety, and show them no threat whatsoever. Obviously, with bulls, we can have a little bit more fun, but it's always important to understand what you're dealing with before going into the situation. Leave that cowboy mentality behind. But just like that, he's gone. Can you still see him, Rex? You see him, eh? He's moving across here, but I can't see anything at all. Apparently he's underneath a marula there. Why wouldn't you be? But nothing, eh, Seb? Is it? It's a man, eh? Female. Okay, so Rex has assured me now that it's a female. So we're just going to stay here. If we get a better look, it'll be great, but there's no safety down there. We can't even see. I haven't even seen it's a female. How many are there? We're just going to leave them. We're going to stay here for a little while longer, and hopefully they'll come out and show us a little bit more of themselves. But while we do so, we're going to go to Taylor, who is driving back.
I'm hungry now. David and I are starving. Anyways, what I thought we would do is, because I don't know if I'm going crazy or not, probably going crazy, but I'm trying to figure out if I've seen the grass this long I suppose we're in March now, since last year. So, who remembers when we did the comparison where we basically watched the grass grow on quarantine? For those of you all getting excited and digging into the archives now, I need your help. And perhaps you could pull a picture up from maybe February, end of February, beginning of March, and you can compare it with this. We've tried to sort of set it up to almost exactly the same spot, but that will be virtually impossible. So we've done our best. We've tried our best here. So yeah, but what do you guys think? I think it'll be quite nice. Maybe I have lost the plot a little bit more than I normally have, and just can't remember. And I actually didn't take any screen shots. So there we go. Hopefully some of you have taken screenshots, and then perhaps you can put the two images together and put the date so we can see which one is which, of course. And I think it'll be quite nice. Now, what else can we see on quarantine on these wide open plains? I can hear lots of birds. Can't see them at the moment though. They're little ones bouncing in the tops of the tree. Oh, that's a bit high. Hey David, that battalier. Oh no, not too bad. There we go. There's a beautiful battalier eagle soaring above. Also always lovely to see them. Luckily we were able to see them in the Mara too. There you go, looking for its next meal. Struggling to glide gracefully today with the wind. Isn't that amazing? You see how it focuses down, and that always surprises me the most. It just called. You see how it brought its feet forward? I can't hear it calling because the wind was a bit too strong. But often when they do that, when they bring their heads down, they poke their feet down, put their landing gear down, and then they make that beautiful call. Well, it's not beautiful. Rah! Rah! Sounds like a chicken with a sore throat normally. Right. Where to next? Where to next? I think we should do a lap around quarantine because I'm going to go for a run at some point. So we will see if there are any elephants around that I need to be careful of. But somebody that does have all the animals today is Byron, and it is his last morning with us for a little while. So, Byron, I hope Tingana puts on a show.
Thanks, Taylor. Well, I mean, it's always just nice to spend time with this big leopard. Hold on a sec. Just move the carcass a bit. I'm going to forward. I think we'll have a better view through here. There we go. Thanks. Is that a bit better? There we go. All right, and maybe our signal holds up nicely here. Oh, look at that. That's a lovely view of him. And he lifted that bushbuck almost like it was nothing. Just moved it slightly, and it's quite a, I mean, it's a fairly large male. Mary, you asked for my last tip of the day. What can it be? What can it be? Let me think about that, Mary, for a second. Actually, you know what? I think why don't we make the tip of the day a bit about conservation? And I think because you know that conservation goes hand in hand with tourism, and it's very, very important. I think for all of us, not just the staff at Wild Earth or Safari Live, not just the presenters or the cameramen, but all our viewers, just to create awareness about conservation of animals worldwide, not just in Africa, but the protection and preservation of areas and wildlife. So that's my tip of the day, is every little bit counts. And I think the more we speak about conservation, protecting animals, the more can be done, and educating people that wildlife cannot be used for medicinal uses or myths like the rhino horn or elephant tusks or pangolin. And tomorrow is apparently World Wildlife Day. And I think they're focusing on big cats at the moment. There are areas around the world where they kill leopards for pelts. So anyway, that's my tip of the day, is we need to work together for conservation. Tourism, conservation, all goes hand in hand. And every little bit helps. Just the awareness and trying to protect these wonderful animals which we are able to view and spend time with. A little bit of a serious one, but I think important nonetheless. And it's been great again being back on Safari Live. I've really enjoyed it. It was a great stint with Ali and Tristan, and nice to see all the other staff again. I haven't seen Nikki and Scott for ages. It's good to see them, and Taylor obviously back from the Mara in full force. So good to see Taylor. Now all we need is for James Henry to come back and him and I can perhaps take a few drives together. Right, we still have some time left on the drive, but let's go across to Taylor, who's busy searching for elephant.
We are searching for elephants and being quite punny as well. It has been quite nice to see you, Byron, but I'm so glad it's only been 2 days though, because, you know, a day longer and I think, oh my goodness, what a nightmare that would have been. No, I'm just teasing. Hopefully he comes back soon and gives us all a visit. Otherwise you're going to be stuck with myself, Scott and Steve for... Sorry. I said a thought in my head. Can't repeat that. But you'll be stuck with us for quite some time now. When's everybody coming back again? I think I don't know when everyone's coming back. Late in March though, mid-March. So yeah, so that's the plan, and no elephants just yet. So I'm all good for a run. For now, I know I'll check, and by the time I go running, there will be a whole herd of elephants up here. That's normally what happens. Also, I need to find out where the best marula tree is that is fruiting at the moment, so I can get the most delicious marulas and to eat them. I think I'm going to ask to do a bushwalk this afternoon. I might have to steal Scott's bushwalk straight out from underneath him. We'll see if he's fine with that. I'm sure he won't be too worried. So yeah, that's sort of the plan. This drive's actually gone quite quickly. I'm sad we couldn't spend more time with Hosana, but I think he was slightly frightened after that aeroplane took off and he was on the airstrip. And so he went racing away. I hope the guys managed to find him again. And that's also another plan for the afternoon. Someone can go and have a look around there. And then I didn't even really have a squiz for Kuchaba at all. I must be honest about that. I'll get to her eventually. She's just waiting. She's waiting to show me her cub. I need to see Tandy and her little one too. Right. Well, let's go across to the leopard man of Africa.
Oh dear, Taylor. No, it's a bit of an exaggeration. Nowhere near leopard man of Africa. Tristan definitely has luck with leopard. He actually saw Kuchava the other day in the cub. I haven't seen that leopard, so... But we did see Tundi, well, not the cub though, but we saw Tundi about a week ago. Just over a week ago, when we had all that rain. Nice to see that new male in the area. You know, it's always interesting when you have different leopards coming into areas fighting for territory. Changes the dynamic a little bit, but it's good. New genes, and all very important for the growth of the leopard population. Bobby, ticks, from my understanding, I don't think they can really cause tick bite fever or anything like that for these big cats. But, you know, they can still probably cause an infection. And, I mean, we've seen if ticks are really bad on animals that they can cause serious wounds. And occasionally we've seen giraffe perhaps that have lost tails because of ticks. Some animals tend to lose a tail because the ticks just infest an area and end up causing an infection and losing a tail. But in terms of something like a tick bite fever or something like that, these animals have got an immunity to it. So it doesn't affect them like it affects us. Oh, this male really is enjoying this carcass. Well, thank you very much to everybody who's saying goodbye and hope to see me soon. I'm sure I'll be back maybe in the next 6 to 8 weeks possibly. When someone goes on leave again. Perhaps, we'll see. Chat to James and see, but I'm sure I'll be back again. And thank you very much again for all the wonderful messages over the last 2 weeks and questions. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. But I have got to go off and guide elsewhere and spend some time in the bush in different areas. So looking forward to that. Thanks to Taylor this morning for driving around and also finding some animals for us, and Steve on Bushwalk. Sounded like he had fun. So don't forget, this afternoon the team will be back on Safari Live for the Sunset Safari. But a big thank you again to all of you. Kirst, thank you. And Final Control, the voices in my head, as I like to call them. Ferg, thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you all soon. Enjoy carrying on watching Safari Live. Still a lot to happen. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.